Hi there guys, it's Robert, an ambassador for Christ, and as you know where Go the Kingdom goes, remember as usual, eat the fish and spit out the bones. For some things you for some things you may agree with and some things you may not. It's the usual stuff. Now listen to me, okay? This is such a basic thing I'm going to say to you, but many believers forget about it, all right? Listen to me. Just because you're saved and you believe in God doesn't mean you're automatically spiritual, okay? Doesn't mean you're automatically spiritual. You have to be spiritual on purpose. Being spiritual, just because you're saved, you're not spiritual by default. You have to be spiritual on purpose. And for you to be spiritual on purpose is going to take discipline. It's going to take a mindset change. It's going to take you to grab hold of the things of God on purpose. You have to have spiritual goals on purpose. You have to have a spiritual direction. You have to go in a spiritual direction on purpose. You have to map it out and go that way. Because what happens is that what you need to understand is that you are carnal by default. Woo! You don't have to do anything to be carnal. You don't have to do anything to follow the world. Why? Because you will follow the world by default. If you are not spiritual intentionally, if you're not intentionally seeking God, intentionally praying, worshiping, following God, if you're not doing that on purpose, okay, you're just gonna be carnal by default. Carnal by default. It's easy to follow the flesh, but it takes discipline to follow the spirit. I'll show you something. It's like I said to a brother years ago, I said, how comes I can watch a box series, I can watch films, I can go on TikTok and social media, I can go on it for 5 hours, I can do it easily. But when it comes to reading the Bible, it's very, very difficult. It's not easy. And he said to me, when you're watching social media, your brain, it doesn't take you to do anything. You can just watch it. It's not, you're receiving information, you're receiving entertainment. But when it comes to you reading the Bible, it takes effort. You have to go and do something on purpose. You have to purposefully read and receive information. You have to purposely get on your knees and pray. You don't have to pray on your knees. You can pray. There's different types of prayer posture. You have to worship God on purpose. It's going to take effort. So for you to be spiritual is going to take effort. But for you to be carnal takes no effort whatsoever. It's easy to be carnal. It's easy to be in the flesh. It's easy to follow the world. But it takes discipline to follow God. Now, following God is not going to be easy because you need discipline. But you will receive benefits from being disciplined in following God. You're going to receive blessings. You're going to receive wisdom, revelation, insight. You're going to start moving in spiritual gifts. You know, the more disciplined you become is the more fruit you're going to taste, more good fruit you're going to enjoy in your life. You're going to start moving in higher gifts of the spirit. You'll start moving in higher blessings, in higher things, the more disciplined you become in the things of God. So like I said, being spiritual is going to take effort. You're not spiritual by default. You're not spiritual automatically. You have to be spiritual by discipline, and it's going to take effort. But you are carnal and you can follow the world on autopilot. So you need to understand that if you're not chasing God, you're in the world. If you're not purposefully looking for God, because remember, to follow God takes discipline. If you've got no discipline, no spiritual discipline, you're going to be carnal. You're going to be in the world. You're going to be doing all forms of evilness, and you're going to struggle and you're going to suffer. But if you are disciplined in spiritual things, disciplined in following God, you're going to have the opposite. Good things are going to manifest in your life. So like I said, in closing, you have to be spiritual by discipline. You're not spiritual by default. It's going to take effort. It's Robert, an ambassador for Christ. I shall see you guys on our next video. Have a great rest of the day. Boom. Woo. God is good.